things about what happened after following the end of World War II. Secret. And what the secret is over $100 billion in gold, diamonds, silver, the treasuries of 13 different Asian nations which were looted by the Japanese government and which were secretly brought to Japan and to the Philippines. We're talking about treasures that have been accumulated for thousands of years in all these different countries. What we have to remember is that the emperor sent his soldiers out, and there was a saying, the three alls: steal all, burn all, kill all. And people have forgot about the first all, which was steal all. When Japan annexed Korea, what they did immediately began in this country of all this national wealth and transporting all this national wealth to Japan. The same thing when they took over Manchuria. They went and they looted Manchuria and brought all the wealth of Manchuria also to Japan. And then we remember what happened when they invaded Nanking. Again, steal all, kill all, burn all. Why kill all? Because they didn't want any witness. Why burn all? Because they didn't want any evidence. And what did they do is they went through and their main purpose was to loot the capital of China of all its riches. And that's what they did, is they systematically looted that country and looted the capital of China and immediately began transporting massive amounts of gold, diamond, bullion, up through Shanghai, right back into Japan. This was the beginning of a massive looting operation that began in Nanking and then continued when they went into Hong Kong, when they went into Singapore, when they went into the Philippines, when they went into Sumatra, when they went into Malaysia. What they did is they looted these countries of their national treasures, golden Buddhas, diamonds, treasures that have been building up for thousands of years in all these different ancient Asian countries. And what the royal household, what Hirohito did, he put the royal family in charge of this, including Prince Chichibu. And what they did is they had this massive operation of finding golden Buddhas, golden statues, and what they do is they melt it down, they put it into golden bars, and then they transport it through China back into, through Korea back into Japan. They bring it across ships. So they had this massive looting operation going on. And also what they started to do is bring the loot into the Philippines, where again they were doing massive amounts of melting down of gold and they were stealing. They had two bases of operation, one in Singapore and the other in the Philippines. And so as the war continued, they continued to loot these countries. And then what happened was when America started winning the war and moving closer and closer, that started shutting down their operations. And what they did is they had to bring this loot over in ships. But what was happening is America was now sinking their ships. So they put Prince Chichibu in charge of bringing all this loot to Japan. And what he did is he took ships, painted them as hospital ships, put out bulletins saying these are hospital ships, but in fact they were filled with gold bullion, diamonds, rubies, jewels, the treasures of all these different nations, and were continuing to be transported off to Japan. But at the same time, they were also using the Philippines as a depository, and as the U.S. forces using the Philippines as a depository, and as the U.S. forces continued to conquer, pretty soon it was no longer possible to be bringing ships full of gold bullion to Japan. What they did is they started burying it in caves throughout the Philippines. What they also started doing is they actually would take ships filled with gold, sank them all around Japan, sank them in Tokyo Bay, because they now were realizing they were going to lose the war. So they basically had almost $100 billion now in assets, in gold, treasure, which was now sitting at the bottom of Tokyo Bay, which was now sitting in different parts of the Philippines, and which had actually been being deposited in different banks throughout the world. So here's the mystery of what happens is, why does the world suddenly forget about all the atrocities committed by Japan? And what happened is that in the Philippines, they discovered some of these treasures. MacArthur discovered some of these treasures. And what happened is that this information was put back to Washington, D.C. And they realized that there was incredible amounts of gold and diamonds and $100 billion in assets. And there's a saying that to the victor go the spoils. The United States was going to be the victor. So what they did is they started making deals. And one of the deals they made was with Hirohito. This was the #1 war criminal. The United States Congress